What's going on, everyone? It's Marco Hanna. A couple days ago, I asked you guys on Twitter if you'd like to see an Ask Phone Dog, a show where you get to ask me, Cam, or Bo what we think about things, about mobile, about our personal lives, get to know us a little bit better. So welcome to Ask Phone Dog with me, Marco Hanna. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it. The first question comes from Twitter user at MobileTechVista, and he asks, what phone are you most anticipated for in 2015? Now, I actually have a few of them, the first one being the OnePlus 2. For one reason, I'm really interested to see what the phone looks like, but more importantly, how they're going to sell these things. Is it going to be an invite system? Are they going to mass produce these things, which means probably going to be more expensive? I'm just really interested in seeing how that kind of thing goes. And also, I'm really interested in the HTC One M9 because I'm a big fan of the HTC One line, and also the LG G4 because I loved the LG G3 and I still do, and I'm definitely interested to see what new feature the LG G4 will have later this year. Now, my next question comes from Twitter user at HarddickGohill97. I think I said that right, maybe not. And he asks, what do you think about Project Aura, and do you think it's the next best thing? Honestly, I think there's a couple things that have to make this thing successful. One, it has to cost less than your conventional flagship smartphone. Secondly, it has to look good. And so far, they look interesting. I mean, they're definitely a little weird. They're definitely a little chunkier than, say, your typical standard built smartphone. And also, if they can market it towards people who aren't tech nerds like me or you, in terms of, like, you guys love technology and definitely want to swap out CPUs and swap out things, I think the most interesting part is being able to swap out your image sensor and your actual camera. That is pretty cool to me, and I think that it might be a very big consumer thing to market. If you want a Sony camera or you want a Motorola camera, and I don't know why you'd want one, that would be a very interesting thing. So I think it really has to do with how expensive this thing will be and when they can actually get it to the market, because right now we've only seen prototypes and we actually haven't gotten these shipped at all. So that's my answer. Next question comes from Twitter again, and the username is at DJBQC, and he asked, what are your thoughts about Microsoft's Holo Lens? And if you haven't seen this thing, it actually is pretty cool. They kind of debuted this with Windows 10, and it's sort of like a virtual reality mix of holographic world. Now, in my opinion, it's virtual reality because you have to wear this headset. I mean, you're not really going to have holograms coming out of your floor or anything. That would be cool. I think that would be awesome, actually. But this whole little world where you can just kind of build things, you can use things, and I think the biggest or the coolest demonstration is they were making a quadcopter, and then they actually turned that holographic image into a 3D printed item that actually worked. So I'm guessing they just fitted motors with it, right? But that is a pretty cool idea. Now, again, I think that they have to really streamline the whole process and not say things like copy and paste and do things, and you kind of sound a little stupid when you do that. So it definitely looks interesting. I'm really excited for it. I can't wait to try it out myself. But again, everything has its limitations. If you definitely like virtual reality, go ahead and check out Austin Evans. He has a lot of cool stuff about virtual reality, so make sure to go and check his channel out. Now, my next Twitter question comes from user at Crinny, and she asks, I have an upgrade. Should I wait? Honestly, yes. If you're looking for an Android phone, we have the S6, we have possibly the Sony Xperia Z4, and also the flagship HTC One M9. And obviously the Galaxy S6 is also a flagship phone. Now, if you're looking for an iPhone, the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are still really good choices right now. We're still pretty far away from the next iPhone, so I think you're pretty safe on that. And they are the best iPhones so far, so that's not a really bad choice. For Windows Phone, I mean, you can buy one right now. There's not too many to really pick from. I mean, the Lumia 830 is a good mid-flagship phone you can buy. Obviously, you can still buy the 1020, but it's pretty outdated by now. So I hope that kind of answers your question. I would tell you to wait if it's an Android phone. If it's an iPhone, go ahead and buy it. Next question also comes from Twitter, and the username is at SioJoYT. I think I said that right. Maybe. And he asks, HTC One M9 or OnePlus 2? Now, they're both theoretical devices, so we actually don't know what they look like or what their specs are. But if it were my pick, probably the OnePlus 2. Just saying. And our last question for this episode of Ask Phone Dog comes from username @mkinnon, and he asks, do you think the Snapdragon 810 processor will only get hot with Quad HD displays? This is a very interesting question because I don't think the Snapdragon 810 processor will actually get hot with a Quad HD display. I think it's more due to the performance. While an 810 processor will probably be able to handle a Quad HD display with ease, I think that people are kind of realizing that 1440p and 1080p are very similar. There's not that much difference. No one's making native 1440p content. I mean, we're making 4K content, but if you watch it on the YouTube application on a 1440 display, then you can actually watch it in 1440p, but that content was not shot in 1440p. I think someone called me out for that, but that's what I meant. Native content, 4K, not 1440p, so there's really not a big reason, and PPI, very negligible. Basically, 1080p around 400 pixels per inch, 1440p around 500 pixels per inch. You can't tell a difference between them. I'd be happy with a 1080p display. The OnePlus One has a 1080p display, and I definitely love that display. Now, the Nexus 6 and Galaxy Note 4 have great displays, but I just can't see the difference. Just saying. So that about wraps up this first episode of Ask Phone Dog. Make sure to leave some questions below for the next episode of Ask Phone Dog, and also be on the lookout on Twitter when we ask for your questions to send them in. Use the hashtag AskPhoneDog. And as always, my name is Mark Johanna, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.